Rewind the tape.
Hi guys, here we are again.
Hello.
My classic intro, because I don't know what else to say. This is your fave podcast. Wait, rewind the tape with me, Natalie.
And me, Ruth, who is on the ball. Aha, I know the intro.
Slight nanosecond delay, but yeah, we're getting
No,
there.
that's the internet. That's not me.
If in doubt, blame the Wi-Fi. Always.
It's always the
connection. Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Anyway, it could never be me.
So, do you know what I was thinking about the other day? And we will get into the podcast, but maybe not for this week, obviously. But
Drake.
Maybe not Drake, not specifically Drake, no, but kind of connected.
Okay.
You know, we just don't play any games anymore, and we could probably still find a card game to play just to like ease everybody into the pod.
We could do what ridiculous thing have you been thinking about this week?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
In your fantasy land. Only because I know Natalie's fantasy land is hilarious. What's it mean?
Look, there's a word for it, so that means it's other people think about it too, and it's not maybe not normal, but you know, I think it's normal. What is normal?
Nothing is normal. Everything is normal because nothing is normal.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. There is some. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know anymore.
I mean, the things I think about, if we'll get onto it, are just terrible things happening to me and having to overcome them, battle through them, tell people, break the news to people. Maybe I'm dying. Maybe I've been in an accident.
It's a common thing to think about.
It is a common thing. So, you know, it's not just me, but it is a bit weird.
The thing is, it could happen. Like, lots of crazy things happen in life. I'm not saying that you should think about them all the time, but it's just, your mind can't help but think of those things because they happen to like people you love all the time.
Yeah,
maybe
but
not
it's
all
also
the time.
Not just it. I think when I told you, you gave me too much credit, and you said, I think it was maybe my way of like preparing myself for these things happening. No, it's my way of martyring myself. That's what everybody, no one's preparing themselves for these terrible things to happen, because if they happen, of course you don't want them to happen, but you know, you're thinking, well, if it did, I'd be strong enough to get through it. What are you? And you martyr
I never
yourself.
think that. I'm not strong. Like,
oh, we've spoken about this before, haven't we? Where you think that did you think that you would be the first person to die, like in a killer situation? Because in a zombie apocalypse, you said that you were a survivor and people better find you.
100%. And I'm not helping anybody, by the way, unless you've got something to give. Bye.
I'm sorry, but what was it last? No, it was a couple of weeks ago. Did we not have a conversation about how if somebody's knocking on the door, you're opening it, you're helping them, you don't care, you'll probably die in the meantime. And now you're like,
door. But I'm saying in a zombie, okay, so a zombie apocalypse is different. So like if someone runs to my house and, oh, you're right, I'll fucking help everyone, I'm going to die.
Yeah. So don't run to Ruth, because chances are you'll both die because
of you. It'll be your fault. You'll slow me down.
You led the zombies to Ruth's door.
Okay, in a zombie apocalypse, all bets are off. I'm not going to lie. All bets are off.
You can't help somebody because they may well be a zombie.
No,
they may be harboring the virus. I don't know how long the virus takes to hold from bite to turning.
You're so right. I'm so... Corona has made me realise like I'm a very like by the book when it comes to viruses. I'm very by the book. So until I know the rules...
Stay away from me. Stay the hell away from me.
Yeah. And I'll find a way to help my family, but that's it. Everyone for himself. And some members of my family too.
Yeah, we won't go into details.
No, I'm joking. I'm
going to help. And by family, you know, some of my friends are included in that for sure.
Oh my God, literally you and one other friend. The rest of you can
Yeah.
I don't mean it, but I kind of do. Anyway,
I probably go out of my way to help somebody that I shouldn't help, like somebody that
not an ex that you've always had harbored feelings.
Probably. Or not even if maybe you don't even harbor feelings for them anymore, but you help them so that they know. So it's like going back to that thing of like, if you're thinking about something terrible happening to you, the person that you imagine telling is that person. Why? Okay. It's not like I'm not sat there imagining how I'm going to break the news that I've got cancer to you, because that's not part of like the fantasy. So fantasy is a really not the right word for this, because I'm not saying I'm getting any.
No. Like, but there's, I don't know the word for it.
A daydream, or I don't know what. Like, it's just
a really morbid daydream.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, exactly. A really morbid daydream. So that's what I think about. So there you go.
When in actuality, that would never happen.
No.
So you're just thinking of ways that you can like make that person feel bad.
I don't know. Maybe not necessarily bad. I don't know. Just feel away. No, not even guilty. Just like, I don't know. See how awesome you are, because they will fall apart when they hear the news and you're like, it's happening to me and I'm okay. I'm dealing with it. I'm fine. Oh no, gosh. I need to go back to therapy.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I can't. Yeah. But maybe it's like because somebody I went to uni with has cancer at the moment, and she posts about it all the time. And like, she seems okay. But obviously, like, no one's going to come to Instagram with their like deepest.
This makes it sound I'm really, really not trying to trivialize like anyone's experience of these things.
The funny thing is, you did it last time. You said you imagined, and I know this happens to people. Like, I literally can think of somebody else who this has also happened to. Like, you were in a really bad accident and you had to relearn how to walk.
Yeah, all that. Just.
I don't know why I find that funny. I'm sorry. I'm going to hell. I just find that one funny.
I mean, I'm going to hell too. I'm thinking about these terrible things, but other people. This is other people's reality, and I'm just.
I know someone who was had a really bad accident. He didn't have to learn to walk again, but like he almost died. Was hit by a lorry. Seemed like a really life-changing event. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not. Your thing seems a lot more normal now.
No, it still doesn't.
A bit crazy, and it made me.
I think everyone who's imagined what it'd be like to think about what it'd be like if somebody told you were dying. I just think that's a very normal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, but it's also, yeah.
Sorry to the listeners. What a way to begin.
Jesus, this was not our intention. I was saying we should bring back pillow talk. Now we've got to this.
Oh, pillow talk.
Yes, it was more like, and on Drake, when I sent you that thing, there's that card game, We're Not Really Strangers. And they had like, I don't know, there was, I sent it to you on Instagram. It was funny.
I hated it.
Look, we need to move on because...
Did you listen to Drake's new song? Did you see his new video?
Didn't even know that there was a new song or a new video.
3 new songs out. He released a 3-pack. The middle song is my favorite song, and the video was for the first song. The video was quite good, but he always makes the same video essentially. He makes really cinematic videos.
Like Hotline Bling. Lol.
No. More like
cinematic like that.
I mean like well, his last few videos, if you haven't seen them, it doesn't really
Like,
And
you
to be
mean
honest,
like storytelling, like with a narrative, or
no, I just mean like a really
shot,
high production value, beautiful shots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, is this a film or is this a 3-minute song?
Yeah. So I can't. I would say I haven't seen it because my newsfeed has been dominated by something else, which we'll get onto in 2 seconds. But
it was just
in reality, I wouldn't have known.
I was actually thinking I should send it to you, but then I was like, I don't know if that's necessary. But yeah, we should just do Drake updates for the rest of time.
We have a different spin-off podcast of just you keeping me up to date
Drake
with
doing?
Drake. Yeah. Drake's like, yeah, Drake's goings on. You're like, well, we were talking over tea and coffee this morning. Okay, so
I just want to be really problematic and say onto a more biracial drama.
Right. Ooh.
It went from, yeah. So basically, this week we wanted to watch the Meghan and Hazza. Well, I'm going to call them up the whole time.
Meghan, Harry, Oprah? Meghan, Oprah, Harry?
Yeah, Oprah. Yeah. Oprah, Meghan, Harry. Let's get one thing straight.
I think it was... What's the hashtag? I don't think it's Oprah first. I think it's Meg's first.
Fuck the hashtag. Oprah's always first. I'm sorry, but she is.
Yeah.
Or is she last just as a sign of respect? I don't know how it goes. Anyway.
We're thinking too much about it.
Yeah, way too much. So wanted to do the Oprah interview, and I'll just be really transparent and say, I'm going to try and be as honest as possible for the whole podcast. I just didn't think, like, I knew it was, obviously I know what's been going on in the press, like, the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people at work talk crazy. Like, I get it. Like, people are racist. This is the whole anti-Black sentiment thing setting her up. And I thought this would be like, I didn't realize how much this would, obviously, as a Black woman who's actually had to grow up in this fiasco, I didn't realize how much it was going to bring up for me. Like, what a dumbass. Like, I was getting so upset, and I was like, obviously, and the time I chose to watch it, so I watched it on Monday morning, essentially. Like, that really, I can't lie. I know it's only Tuesday. Oh, well, yeah, guys, it's Tuesday. You might as well know. It ruined my week.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's ruined my week. And yeah, I'm just really exhausted. I could not believe how much it upset me. And I was just annoyed at myself for being upset. I felt weak for being upset because it's just like, this shouldn't upset me. Like, with knowing all that I know about the world, like, this should be like a feather, but it just doesn't work like that.
Stop it, Ruth. Firstly, the only reason it shouldn't upset you is because it shouldn't be happening. Of course it would upset you. Like, that's a totally normal response, and it is not a sign of your weakness. And I know you know that in your rational self.
No, I know. I'm just being honest about how I felt watching it. Yeah. It made me feel like, yeah, I just didn't like it. Brought up a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff with relationships and racism, and it's just like, you want to live in a world, well, I can speak for myself, I want to live in a world where there's no pretend. So you don't have to pretend that all these things aren't happening, but you know, everything that people say is simmering under the surface is like, it's not, it's just there, but nobody wants to talk about it. You want to live in a world where everyone confronts all of these things, but then when you actually like pull the sheet off and you have to confront it, then it makes you realize how bad all the things that have happened to you personally are. And that, even though, like, because for someone like me, I talk to a therapist and stuff, I try and deal with, I haven't spoken to her in 2 weeks. I try and deal with my trauma as much as I can, but it just like, it really is like, fucking hell, that is like, this is shit. This is really bad. This is really shit. And especially like, because obviously, like, Natalie knows, but like, my last serious relationship ended because the people closest to my ex-boyfriend, I felt they were racist. And it's just like, it just, with regards to that situation, I didn't think I had anything left to do there in terms of like how I felt about it. And it just like the whole night, like it just brought so much up for me, and it really made me have to confront a lot of things, and it was shit and I hated it. Yeah, so it was a bad choice. But here we are. Shout out to the British Empire, still ruining lives.
Yeah, totally. The British Empire, the British tabloids.
Yeah, still doing the devil's work.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rupert Murdoch.
Shout out to, no, let's not shout out these people. Yeah.
Where to begin? I did
what
make
to
notes.
say about it. Did you? Okay.
My notes are very sparse. I've got to also say, like, I cried once, and then there were 2 times where I was just like, 4. I had to go for a walk, like to stop watching it and walk it off because I was getting so fucking angry. Oh, and I'm not gonna lie, when Harry came out, he kind of made it worse.
Yeah.
There's so many layers to it. First of all, I don't believe the monarchy should exist, obviously, because it doesn't matter how you spin it. You can't live in a democratic state if there's a monarchy. Like, it doesn't make sense. There shouldn't be a monarchy. And it's like him saying that his family were trapped and all this other stuff. I'm like, they are trapped in a position of oppression. Like, am I supposed to feel bad?
Yeah. It frustrates me when people, you have to have that conversation with people. Oh, but what could they really do? What can you, like, you are taking away from this situation and taking the light away from what's actually the problem. So why should I feel sorry? And oh yeah, it must be so difficult for them. Like they can't be themselves. They can't, it's a job and all this and that. And I like, how does that compare to the experience of people that are living in this country?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Real people who are struggling, who can't get a job, who because of the color of their skin, who are dying because of the color of their skin.
In the middle of a pandemic, it's the last thing I want to fucking hear about.
Like, it's not, I'm not going to feel too sorry for the royals. Yeah, they were born into it. They didn't choose it.
Do you know what? The reason I don't watch The Crown is because I don't know if it's the second or third episode. I feel like I got 2 episodes in, or maybe it's no, I feel like I got 2 episodes in. It was just like the premise, like the idea that it never really occurred to me that this is a woman, talking about the Queen, who has been raised to believe like this is her birthright. Once I understood that, I was like, this isn't for me. Yeah. Like, and I watch all sorts of problematic shows.
Oh, you know, you've heard us talking about them.
You've heard me talking about all sorts of mess. But that's one thing I just couldn't. I'm like, how can you genuinely believe that your birthright is to be the... First of all, I can't even imagine somebody convincing me that my like life passage is to be a head of state because of who I was born to be. I kind of even have a problem with some of the things people say about destiny, to be honest. But then it's like, imagine if you're watching The Lion King, but Mufasa was telling Simba that like he has dominion over all the land, and then he points out and it was just like loads of dead bodies from other countries. Like, you'd be like, it kind of changes it.
Yeah, I don't want this. You're like, okay,
I'm not sure about this one. Yeah. Like, it's so dark.
What did you do?
It's like to have a belief that like people who believe in like the idea of an empire, that means you believe in all of the atrocities that was carried out in the name of that. And it also, for me, it shows like a severe level of delusion, because it's just like, you still believe that these things that exist for profit are like some fucking ordained destiny. Are you like, and I won't. Let me
And
know.
the idea as well that people could say, oh, but you can't blame them for what their ancestors did or other people did. It's kind of like, no, I'm not blaming them for what other people in the monarchy have done in the past, but I am blaming them from not kind of owning up to it and apologizing and paying reparations and saying
100%.
this actually was not right. Let's give back what we took. They're not fucking doing
that.
Bare
minimum. Not only are they not doing that, they're going as far as to say Boris Johnson is literally opening his stupid mouth to say that he thinks that Africa was better under colonial rule. Like, that's the current prime minister. Like, it's just, I just can't. And then people like me have to go to school and feel awkward when they're talking about slavery because everyone's staring at you, when actually everyone else should be ashamed and I should be fine.
Yeah.
Like, no, yeah. It's like
it shouldn't be like, oh, Ruth. And apologies if this is triggering, but like, oh,
don't do it.
Like, okay, but baby, we should be asking them about their ancestry.
They don't even. That's the thing. It's like even the name, the transatlantic slave trade, and outside of that, like if we really think about the modern world, it probably began for me anyway in the 60s when most countries gained independence.
Yeah.
Because England weren't just doing a madness by selling human beings, because some people like to say that England ended slavery and all this after 400 years. How generous. You also live in a country that literally went into loads of other nations and forced your own culture and government onto them. That sounds like they make it sound like a cute thing. It's not. Do you know how much violence,
the lasting damage that has been done
is crazy? And it's just so, when it's not like, it's so obvious. And then it pisses me off even more because like you'll get English people who'll travel to other countries and it doesn't click for them. Like when I was in Nigeria for like the longest I stayed, for 2 months, I was honestly, it gets so upsetting to see like all the after effects of colonization. It is heartbreaking. Like from being in the fucking supermarket and seeing like shelves of bleaching cream from this, because colorism is still so rampant, and then to see stuff like that. And then for me in my own life to see how like I've personally benefited from colorism, and in a way I've also been like negatively affected by it as well, but to like have to contextualize that in my head, and then like how, I'm not being funny, but it is so simple, it's so black and white, it really is a very easy thing to understand. Like, I'm sure I told you this before and I don't know if I'm oversharing now, but like one of my aunties had this nickname for me when I was little because I was quite light. And she would say it when I came in the room. I'm so sorry if this triggers anybody. I won't say what it was or anything. But obviously, I'm literally like, 4 years old? I don't fucking know. So I'm just like, I just thought she's happy to see me or whatever. And then like, as I've gotten older, obviously she doesn't say shit like that anymore. Times have changed, thank God. But like, to hear her story and how she, when she was young and she was dark-skinned, how like people from her own family were really horrible to her, and the things that they would say to her on I think it was like her mum's sisters or something. I really don't know, I apologize if that's incorrect. I really don't know, I shouldn't have said that. I think it was, I don't know, but she told me the things they would say to her, and I'm just, as an adult, and I'm just like, that's so hard like to even hear. That's why when like all these conversations about colorism are happening, and you have like basically mixed race women in the UK doing all these documentaries on colorism, that is so, do you know how fucked up that is? Because you like you have even more light skin privilege than me, like you haven't got a fucking clue. How can somebody who has never experienced something be the voice of it? So what, you're going to be like the mouthpiece for something that you've benefited from? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Do you know how hurtful that is? It just pisses me off. And that's why even like when we're talking about like taking up space that you shouldn't take up, like there are things in my life where I'll speak on it, but I'll never act like I'm the queen
the
of knowledge.
authority, yeah.
Yes, because it's literally, these are people's lived experiences. And the easiest way to know is if somebody tells you something and you gasp, that's not your case.
Yeah.
If something shocks you, how can you, these are women who've experienced something their whole life, and you're going to tell the world what their experience is, and you think that's okay, and I just think it's like, it makes me physically sick. It's disgusting because everyone wants to act like it's fucking neuroscience, but some of these things are so black and white. Oh my God, it makes me sick, but whatever. Okay, let's talk about Meghan and fucking Harry. First of all, I wrote down fairy tale is another trigger word, because remember we were talking about the word, is it imperial?
I don't know, were we?
It was something like we were slagging off Joanna Lumley. And to anybody who, if you heard me and Natalie slagging off Joanna Lumley and what she was on about, calling herself a child of the empire, and you thought that maybe you thought, why is that weird? This is why it's weird. You can't. What the fuck are you on? Anyway. So yeah, she's described.
Well, because she was born in India, right? So she was saying she's a child of the empire, and therefore it's what. So I can what as this, it's as good as, that's not the right word, not as good as being Indian, but she's saying like, therefore she was born in India, so she can claim that experience and she can understand that experience as an Indian. What?
It is a mess. It's like saying like, I'm like you, like, you know, it's like when people come up to you and say like I worked with this girl at Erdem, and she was like, you know, when I was little, I grew up a little bit in Jamaica, and this is like a really posh white girl, because her dad had a job there. Well, she actually said her dad was stationed there or something. Anyway, I don't know the fuck she was on. I hated her, so I was trying to get out of the conversation ASAP. She was all right. It's just like, this is what people don't get. You can be a quote unquote nice person, but if you haven't unlearned a lot of stuff, you're just going to constantly irritate me and upset me. That's why I don't want to be around you. It's like, why do I have to sacrifice my peace of mind? And I can't be bothered to explain. So that's why when people are like, well, you know, like, I feel like you don't have, it's not that I don't like you. It's just like, you're just too white for me. And it's just like, there's no polite way to say that.
Such nuts things. Like, I had somebody at work once say, we were talking about like where, I guess where everybody's from. And obviously I'm like, well, I'm from Blackpool. Where are you really from? That used to trigger me so much, that question, because hearing it all the time when you're out, you know, in the clubs or whatever. Anyway, so he said, oh, I'm Anglo-Indian, and he just like, it just kind of came out. For the record, I really like this guy. He's like, I wouldn't call him racist, not at all. I actually think I've described this to you, or even on this podcast, so apologies if I have. And he said something like, oh, you're quite dark for being only half. I don't know. And stuff like that would have, like, when I was younger, I would have been really like, in fact, I probably would have preempted that by saying, oh, I'm only half, but I'm so dark because my dad's from South India and he's really dark, and and I would have really I would have felt the need so much when I was younger to qualify my my whiteness, I guess, which is weird because I would never think of myself as white, but then I also never wanted people to think of me as not white, I guess, if that makes any sense. But anyway, it was just like, what do you want me to say to that? What? Sorry, is there a color chart?
Sorry, but that is nuts. That is nuts. Just so you know.
What color should I be? Yeah.
Somebody actually, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter. Have you seen that color chart? It's like the one that they put in a meme with Peter Griffin holding.
Yeah.
Somebody put that colour chart in the Queen's hand, and it's like a picture of her and the baby, like looking at the baby, and they put the colour chart in there. Yeah, but that's what it is. That's why when people talk about like colorism and race, like they go hand in hand.
And it's something that we will have.
You're quite dark for only being. That is like.
As if it's like, oh, you look fully Indian, which I think a lot of people assume that I am. I guess because I am quite dark for somebody that's.
No, it's because on the spectrum of non-whiteness, like,
right,
where you can sit anywhere, like you meet biracial people who look like literally one race or the other.
Yeah,
completely.
Of course, yeah.
For goodness sake, Mariah Carey's dad is black.
But you also have people that are like fully Indian who
will be very
passing white.
That's because race is actually a construct, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
that is mad. Natalie, the next time someone says that to you, I'm gonna need you to say something.
I didn't not say something, and I was really mad. I did say, like just like, oh, says the white middle-aged, not middle-aged, no, says the white cisgendered man, like that. I say that a lot to men. But then I always feel like, oh God, I'm gonna get into trouble, and I'm gonna be the one that's labeled. And I'm like,
no, because I was thinking
it's not like it isn't like I didn't say it. What I mean is, I suppose once there would have been a time where that really would have affected me adversely, whereas in this situation now, it's just I shouldn't chuckle it off because it is a dumbass question, but it would have been a lot more damaging a long time ago because of my own internalized racism.
Everyone has,
and not. We've definitely spoken about this before on the podcast.
Not on the podcast.
My own experience of wanting to distance myself from my Indian heritage because of how I was afraid I would be treated, and also how my own perceptions of that side of my culture, because of the way that we were brought up, won't get into it. It's that is for the podcast that I do with my therapist, who I don't have yet. But it makes me feel so totally very common, but like it makes me feel so sad and so ashamed that I ever felt the things that I would feel about myself.
And that is the thing, like that's the craziest thing about experiencing racism is how you internalize it to the point where you feel ashamed. Not only you might feel, if you're around it long enough, because it is mental abuse. I don't care how it's been, it's literally erode at your self-esteem and your mental health. It makes you feel ashamed of yourself, and then when you begin to get over that, then you feel ashamed of the person you were dealing with that, because you're like, I can't believe, like sometimes I think about things that people have said to me and I'm like, I cannot believe I didn't like hit that person. I honestly, I know this sounds crazy, but there are some people I regret not like smacking in the face, because it's just like things that have happened to you that you just normalize, like something that seems small, like I'm sure I put this on my Instagram stories once, when I was in school and somebody pulled my braid so hard that I had a little bald patch because they ripped my braid out, and there was a picture of a little girl and she had like her whole like cane row ripped off, and the anger I felt, and then I was like, wait a second, it didn't happen that severely, but that happened to me. And it's just like, it's crazy because I'm looking at this little girl and I think if I saw that, the way I would react, the anger I would feel, like that when it was me, I didn't have that for myself. And then it's just like this, but then I did. And you sort of, it fucks with your memory as well, because I remember I ran after him. I was going to hit him because, listen, I don't know what to say. I was 30 and I was going to fight. And the teacher stopped it. The teacher stopped it because he was like, you know, like you can't have a fight in the classroom or whatever. Yeah. But it's like, but my reaction was so reasonable for somebody ripping the hair off my head. Yeah. But it's all just so... And that's why I didn't enjoy this Meghan Markle thing, because it just brought up a lot of shame in me. And it's just like, I shouldn't have to feel ashamed. It's so, honestly, I'm so embarrassed to be... I know people think that this is like somewhere... I get so embarrassed to have lived and grown up in this country sometimes.
That interview made me feel...
It's
disgusted with this country, and
it's just a piece of shit. And like I kind of realized a while ago, which made me feel really weird, that like I'm actually like a displaced person. Like I'm not here because... And obviously I'm not trying to compare myself to somebody who is, say, a refugee or something like that, but really and truly, like, we're all here because we have to be here. Because, and it's, I don't know, it's just really, when I think about it, it's so, it gets dark, man. But yeah, back to Meghan and Harry, the fucking fairy tale. Oh my God. Do you know what I also, on a funnier note, what I remembered was, so obviously, do you remember when Kate and, what's that bald man called? William got married.
Yeah.
And it was the Queen's Jubilee. Had like 4 days off or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
That weekend, fuck the Queen, but that weekend was lit. That was one of the best weekends.
Wait, no, they were different. The wedding and the Silver Jubilee were different years.
The Silver
Jubilee, Christ alive, that was a blowout weekend for me.
Didn't see her once. Didn't see Queen Lizzie once.
Oh, right, you were not.
Yeah, didn't hear her voice. That was a chef's kiss, don't worry.
Oh, right, I see. Because I was like, wow, I gave away my weekend.
I'm not gonna lie, I was off my tits, but it was a good time.
It was like a I don't know, 36-hour absolute bender. But then also, no, you know what? I won't say.
I was at a Jamaican street party in Leeds, which is very random, but not that random also.
Fun.
It was really, really good. Like, as in, like, all the music was like either like roots music or like drum and bass. And the MC was just amazing. He kept saying, no work today, no work tomorrow. I still remember it. When was the wedding? Was that not the same weekend?
I wasn't in London for the wedding.
When was that? I don't remember the wedding, because what had happened was, like, nobody I lived with obviously was really like into the monarchy or whatever, but they were like, do you know what, it's on.
You watched the wedding. We all did.
Not really. So what happened was, because I can't day drink or whatever, I just can't. And I definitely can't have a Bucks Fizz first thing in the morning. So we had like a Bucks Fizz. I think I was 2 glasses in. I was like, I've actually got to go to bed. I had to go lie down. I don't remember what happened after that.
Wait, which wedding?
Kate.
Wills and Kate.
By the time it was Harry and Meghan, I was so like anti-monarchy that I think the only bit I watched was
the people coming in.
No, the choir.
Oh, the choir was fantastic.
Amazing. You can't stop
and
me.
And the cellist. Oh,
I don't remember.
Oh, he was brilliant.
Might go back and watch it again. The streams from the wedding have gone up 200%.
The guests coming in, it was pretty good because it's
I was disappointed
a different kind of crowd.
I was disappointed as soon as I saw David and Victoria Beckham. No shade to them, but I was like,
were they not at the other one, Kate and Wills? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, but I felt like they shouldn't have been at this one. Like, why are they everywhere? And fair enough if you invite Victoria, but why would you invite David Beckham to your wedding?
Well, +1.
After what he said, he can go to hell.
+1.
Do you remember when that his emails leaked or whatever, and that was that he was kicking off because he was like, after all the work I've done in Africa, I should have been knighted by now. I'm never going to forget that, Mr. Beckham. You can go to hell. I don't care if you scored a goal every time I get.
Yeah.
Honey, that's going to come up over and over.
People need to know.
It also, I'm not going to lie, when she said she didn't Google Harry, I was like, oh, that explains so much.
Oh, yeah. But
and
also how do you, I don't Google Harry and I know, like,
the Nazi uniform?
Yeah. Look, I mean, it's...
Yeah, people change, blah, blah, blah. But that would have been a red flag
on,
for
like,
me.
how they got together or, you know, what their relationship is. I don't know it. But, like, it is odd to me, like, how they...
It isn't that odd. Because it...
But how, I don't know how, but I mean, and it's not, this is gossiping, like, how did they meet? What situation was it? What was
a friend introduced them.
But what friend? Who's mutual friends with the prince and
But that's Meghan, the thing, he's not, he obviously has a life. Like, I remember when his, I'm sure I've told you this, his ex-girlfriend, what was her name? Chelsea.
Mm.
She went to our law school, so that there was a time when we were just walking into a lecture outside the big auditorium and everyone was like, that's her. And I felt like, I'm not gonna lie, I know I don't feel bad for Rose or anything, but I did feel a bit bad for her because she was like, literally looked, I don't know if she looked like just a normal person, but she's like sitting on her own and everyone was like, and it looked like she was pretending to read. And it's just like, oh damn. Yeah. So yeah, I do think they have friends and like a semi-normal life. Even when they were talking, you know, that Prince Andrew interview when he's like basically talking about how he's like friends with Jeffrey Epstein and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching a bit of that again. I didn't watch that much last time because I just don't find that man pleasurable to watch. But he was talking about being at Trump, and I'm like, oh my god, I've been to Trump.
Wait, where's Trump?
God. Piccadilly?
What is it?
It's just like an old members club that was popping in the 90s.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my god.
Could it have been the same time? I hope not.
No.
And then you're like, not. No, I'm very much not the same age. I wasn't thinking, oh my god,
for that reason. I was like, oh my god, to think like...
They just go to regular places. Regular.
But it's places. Also like to think like when I was sitting on the seat that I was sitting on could have been sat on by someone. All sorts of mess has gone on in those places. It's just like weird. Like, anyway, let me focus. Okay, so let that be a lesson to all of you. You better Google the people you're dating. Don't think you're all high and mighty by not Googling people. You're stupid at this point.
Do you always Google people that you're dating?
Only when I start to think like, what the fuck is going on here? That's the thing. If it's going well.
How many red flags need to appear before you get out Google? 1, 3, third red flag, and you're like,
But now I'm a bit more. Now I'm a bit more savvy. Probably like, no, probably 3.
But how? At what point are you doing a Google image search? Just to make sure that these are only if I'm talking
to somebody. That's different. If I'm talking to somebody online and I think they're a catfish, then I'm doing a Google image search. But if I'm just talking to somebody, I'm sure I've done a Google image search on somebody who I'd met recently because I wanted to find out more.
How did you find their photo?
I don't know.
Facebook? Instagram?
Facebook. I definitely found his Facebook. Oh my god, he's actually blocked me.
No.
He wanted to meet up with me again, and I was like, no. Then I thought like, oh, do you know what? the bar is disappearing. So I messaged him and he'd blocked me.
The bar of what?
My standards.
Right. The bar is disappearing. The bars are opening soon.
I know, I'm not going out.
Dangerous combo though.
Yes,
like I said, imagine what happens when things open up again.
Oh, everybody's going to be fucking.
There's just going to be I think obviously if you were in a relationship, there was this boom, the baby boom, the corona baby boom is real. And there'll be a post-vaccination boom, possibly.
Oh God, I hope I rebuke it. I don't want that. One of my notes says, I kind of get the feeling Kate's a twat.
Oof. I just don't feel like any way about her.
I haven't liked her for a while, but to be honest, like this is, by the way, to the listeners, this is now where I get malicious. I just don't like, I've said it before, like I don't like people who consider themselves like upper class, the upper echelon of English people. I don't like them. They're all, I've never met anyone like that. Okay, I've met 2 people like that. 2.5 people like that I've gone with.
What's the half?
As in, like, I'm still not 100% sold.
Right. Okay.
But 50% all right. Yeah. And even with one of those people who was like the nicest guy, I'm not joking, such a sweetheart, the guy he was with was one of the worst people I've ever met. So I'm just like, but aren't you, if you're this sweetheart and you're in a relationship with this guy, doesn't that make you just as bad as him? Like, how are you comfortable with this? I don't know.
There was a part where I think it was quite early on when Harry comes in and he talks about how he just, before he met Meghan, just didn't realize what life was like or how bad things were, or what I mean, he didn't say it in as many words, but essentially what the Black experience is like, which maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but that kind of, I'm just like, how can you, again, you are the figureheads of this country and you have no idea. You go to all of these Commonwealth nations and you do your tours and you have no idea.
No, if you travel to a country under the capacity of this is a country we have as a country have colonized, and I still see myself as some form of head of state. How could you not? Why would you understand the Black experience? Yeah. Your version of Blackness, like even he still doesn't understand the Black experience, because if he did, he wouldn't want to serve any fucking state. There is no Commonwealth. It's ridiculous. I did think that the way like Meghan carried herself, spoke, everything about it, it was just like it was phenomenal. Like I don't think I have that. Like I just
impeccable.
When you really think about what she's been through and the way she carried herself and was able to speak about it, because like talking about something as triggering as like suicide. I just, that was, to be honest, that was the part where I was like, no, this is a lot for me. It's a lot. And this is so unnecessary to say, but again, the where they were, that house, so nice.
Gorgeous.
So nice.
And you know, I'm glad for them. I'm happy for them. God, I hope that wasn't their house. So
that was I know, I just mean like, I'm not saying that because it's like their house is so nice. I just mean the way that was set up like an out
with that really nice rug and that kind of, it was really, really lovely. Yeah. But I hope that they have a good life now and that they're
their
safe.
life is never going to be, it's going to take years. To be honest, I still can't wrap my head around the fact that, because I understand that, no, I can't. I just can't wrap my head around having a child and not protecting them. I just couldn't. I just can't understand or imagine. Like, that's his literal dad. Like, I know everyone's talking about the Queen and his grandma. Forget that. That is his literal father who has just left him, abandoned him without any security. That is mental. Are you actually smoking crack when you wake up in the morning to think that that's a normal thing to do?
Baby.
Wow. You know how they feel about baby Archie.
Yeah, sadly.
Oh my God. Obviously, the skin color thing upset me, obviously. Because then because you can't, obviously, you think, well, if that's how they were feeling about him, like, obviously, like, how do they feel about the rest of us? Like, we know, but still. That's another thing they put into The Crown in one of the earlier episodes where Prince Philip is, I want to say they're in Kenya. They're in a southern African country, and they get there, and there's like a tall black man who is wearing like traditional like tribal wear, and he has like what is his version of a crown on his head. And Prince Philip in the show is like making fun of this guy. That's when I was like, I'm out. This isn't for me.
Yeah. It may be accurate, but I don't need to see this.
I don't need it.
No.
But yeah. But the suicide part really got to me because I don't mean to sound dramatic, but it made me realize, like, basically from 2016 to 2017, as you already know, like my mental health was just so bad. And I obviously knew it was attached to racism, but it really made me realize, like, that relationship, it made me feel kind of validated to think that it's okay to have such a strong reaction to that kind of environment, because it really is that bad. You're not that I thought I was being dramatic anyway, but like, you're really not. It's in fact, it's so much worse than you could ever conceptualize. The situations that you're being put in and the environments that you're expected to live in. And when it's in your own home, honestly, it's awful.
And you're also having to contend with no one else accepting your experience of that as valid, people questioning it, telling you, well, actually, maybe it isn't you. I mean,
you do that to yourself.
Well, if somebody tells you that long enough, then yeah, you just say, well, maybe it is me. Maybe I just can't deal with this. And I like say this knowing full well that my experience is like, I don't really even have a place to be talking about this in the same way that you do, that other Black people do. This is like,
I wouldn't say that you should feel that. I'm not, obviously, like, we all have like, I don't even know what it's called. I'm going to say perceived privilege, but that's perceived is the wrong word. We all have what's comparative privilege, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, relative comparative.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I don't know. I just feel like in my mind, obviously, like, I don't compare other people's experiences to the Black experience. However, I think that you'd have to be absolutely nuts to not acknowledge just how racist England is and the history of racism as well. Because it's... Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, that's all I was going to say. I wouldn't... when you're speaking about your own experiences, while with me, as people who know each other, like, you should feel free to express the things that you've seen, because honestly, I'm just going to be real. The first racial slur I ever heard wasn't about Black people. And they were saying it was when I was little in Croydon, and it was all the white parents. They said it all the time. And I was only thinking about it the other day. I must have been, 6 years old. They were just saying it all the time.
What?
Not when other adults were around, but when I was there in front of me freely.
Saying
so what the hell did they say when they were at home? Like a racial slur for Asian people?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And this was the 90s.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I just thought, that's why I get angry as well when people say about, like, I know Croydon, at the time, people were acting like Croydon was like a small town on the outside, but when people are like, oh yeah, London's different, I'm just like, what? I don't know where you're from, honey.
London's not different. London is so not different at all that it has... This is maybe not the right word, but it has almost forced minorities to congregate in certain areas where they feel like that's their area. They feel safe. There's segregation here for sure. That is how not different London is. That there are pockets that are completely, segregated.
And then you get like white kids from all these areas that are just trying to force this like falseness of we're all in this together. It just drives me nuts. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, it's a heavy subject.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, we haven't really...
In a way, we talk about it all the time, but like talking about it in this context.
in a kind of concentrated, not us making a kind of off the cuff comment about it and maybe talking about it for 5 minutes. We're actually dedicating quite a lot of time. I mean, we do talk about this off air as well. Quite a lot.
Yeah, of course. I feel like you can't have a genuine friendship with someone if you can't talk about this stuff at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Like, we're like just darting all over the place, but you've got to understand, to anybody listening, this is like, it's hard to talk about. And I feel like I talk about it all the time, and I still, in this concentrated way, with relation to the fucking English monarchy. Are you crazy?
It's so close to home. It is at home.
It's our home. We live in hell.
We've always kind of, I suppose, known the level of rot that runs deep within this country, but this is just shining this massive spotlight on it. And I think what it's also a little bit upsetting is that this isn't likely to be this big watershed moment where anything's going to really change. I think that I'm not saying nothing will change. Yeah, it's a bombshell interview, but change is not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, but they're
going to precipitate anything. Is it, what's
that? I would say for me, like, to anybody who doesn't follow her work, you should go and follow Kelechi Okafor. Seeing her on Sky News saying the things she was saying, that was such, like, it was, I needed that so much. It was such a powerful moment, and it made me think, God, what a time to be alive. Compare that conversation to the conversation that was going on last year. Because the thing is, all of these networks, they invite Black people on, and then they just basically ask them, does racism exist 50 times? And it's nuts. So that was... Are
you sure?
Could it was such a difference.
Yeah, that was a fantastic interview. Yeah, really amazing. Again, such an articulate woman.
Another thing that made me laugh was, I know I'm problematic for finding this funny, but you've got to understand that
Harry's scuffed shoes.
No, I didn't see them. Didn't notice. Okay. Meghan going to HR.
Oh no, that was great. When she, all of that. When I went to the institution and it was one person, and then she went to HR. I'm like, who is it? I watched the interview with my sister and her husband, my brother-in-law, and like me and Wolf would really just like watching it avidly. I think Jenny thought it was not the interview, but thought our reaction to it was quite, I don't know, maybe funny is not the right word. But it just made me think so much of Scandal. Like, this is real life.
Harry wants to be
Fitz.
Fitz so bad. I actually text Natalie saying Harry wants to be Fitz Gerald Grant III so bad. The thing about Shonda is, let's just not get it twisted, right? Because I was thinking this last year. Those two shows that she made, like,
I mean, more than two. Come on.
No, specifically
how to get away with murder.
Not only did she basically modelled and walked us through what the world could be like if we dismantled certain things. Like at the end of How to Get Away with Murder.
Wait, I've not finished.
Oh, I don't think it's the end, but it's not a spoiler.
This is the final season.
It's not a spoiler though. There's one episode where they show what a reconciliation would be like instead of a court.
Oh gosh, yeah, no, I've seen that one. Yeah.
So, and that is something you learn about when you look at victimology. It's like a criminology thing, which is dumb. That's another problem. Criminology should have way more of a lap over with law. Like basically, if you study law, the core modules basically make you just understand the law as it is, as an institution. You have to memorize everything and you have to kind of accept it. And then the more advanced parts of it is when you can challenge, but really and truly you're probably just doing the bare minimum to get through. And then the end is when you do the philosophy of law, when you realize like the whole thing's a joke, but that's the end. Whereas criminology, like they're studying things like victimology, which is like the victim's perspective and alternative ways to resolve things outside of a court system. Why is that not an essential thing to study in law? Like the whole thing's a shit show. You're just basically getting institutionalized. Obviously, I have issues of my own, so like take what I say with the teeniest pinch of salt. But by the way, I'm right. You can Google it. But like Shonda Rhimes demonstrates that, and that's the kind of thing where if you bring it up, people will think that's a really extreme thing to like not have court cases for a lot of these things. Like if somebody gets murdered, not to have a court case, but that has actually happened in this country. Abolish prisons now. I'm tired. Oh my God, I want to tell the listeners that story so bad. Honestly, if we have this podcast in a few years, if we actually make it like down the line,
or if we just keep recording our conversations for ourselves to listen back to.
No, I don't mean make it as in like I'm gonna make it in this world. I mean make it as in make it through. Like if
just
we
keep
survive.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna spill so much tea. I have so many funny stories I wish I could tell you guys, but I just don't think it's
not
all I'll say for now
right
is
now.
No, but abolish prisons because they're costing me money.
But it is, that's kind of crazy that when people think that what is extreme is abolishing prisons or not having
abolishing the monarchy,
massive big court cases or going to trial or abolishing the monarchy, and they think that the current state of affairs is okay, and you're like no the other thing that's extreme. You're like no what we have now is extreme. This is also extremely bad. It doesn't make sense. Why do you think it makes sense? It doesn't.
Why do we have to pretend? That's why that whole positive, like forced positivity, like manifest, think about good things movement pisses me off so much. Anything that relies on me pretending that I'm okay with this, I'm just going to tell you right now, is never going to happen.
Yeah.
I can't. You get to like you when you're younger, like you can try and pick up all these things. You're radical by nature. I personally think most people are radical by their nature when they're younger. You try and pick up all these survival mechanisms to get you through. But you get to a certain point and you're like, I can't do it anymore. This isn't good. We have this it's not enough to campaign for extremely bad things to change. Like all of it has to go. This is not working.
Yeah.
I am not okay with loads of people being thrown in prison. I'm just not okay with Boris Johnson. I was seeing like the tweets don't even hit anymore. The racist tweets don't even hit anymore. Because I'm just like, after this pandemic, you're at this point, what are you doing? There was this guy who's got like a fairly okay platform and he's tweeting about how why would we spend so much of taxpayers' money on protecting Meghan and Harry if they don't want to be in the monarchy? And I'm just like, you obviously don't read, because after what Matt Hancock and his buddy Boris have been doing, they've been giving away billions. Like, what's not clicking at this point? Like,
they've been giving away billions. You've been clapping for the NHS. And you're worried about paying for Meghan and Harry's security detail rather than the extra £3.60 that nurses are going to get come April, £3.50 a week. Like, come on, guys, wake up.
It's once you start seeing like billions of pounds disappearing, that's at that point there's just nothing left to say. Like, we're done out here. Like, the conversation is done. I'm over it and I'm bored. Like, I'm not doing this with you lot anymore. Like, this is all accessible. It's trending every day.
It's so much easier now because somebody will have done a story about this on your feed. You do not even need to go to the news to listen to it. For Christ's sake, these things are in memes now. Memes.
Oh, exactly. The fact that we can hear directly from experts. I don't have to go and subscribe to some fancy law journal that I have to have access through some sort of institution. I can just go on a lawyer's page and I'll be like, here is how Matt Hancock has broken the law in the last 6 months. We are suing him. Here is the information. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, great. Good. Excellent.
It's so ridiculous. I just remember when I was younger and I used to complain about the Prime Minister and somebody said to me like, well, what would you do if you were in that position? I'll never forget it, because in that moment I was like, I don't know. I don't have a plan for the country.
Yeah, but now I don't need to. Why? That isn't your literal job.
But it's just like people make out like there's no alternative though. And I'm like, but there's literally people. And I'm not talking about like some 20-year-old, no shade to me when I was 20, some 20-year-old studying. I'm talking about people who've dedicated their entire lives. And when I say academics, I don't just mean academics within institutions. I mean anybody who like reads up and follows and is like,
it doesn't have to be a university educated.
But no shade to those people either. I just
oh God, wow, you've got someone who's read, who's done
somebody who's done the work. They literally have solutions. And the government, you've got to understand, every government has access to these solutions. The reason they don't implement them is because they exist to make money. Period.
Yeah.
If they get rid of the monarchy, then that opens up a hole where they now have to explain what colonialism was. They have to explain the part that all of these institutions played in slavery and how that affects the law to this day. There's so much they have to do. And then that means that these right-wing politicians can't get into power because they literally rely on your feeling of like sentimentality towards old England.
Sovereignty.
If that goes, then what are they going to offer you? Because let me tell you, it's not going to be your tax money. Because they've already spent that.
What's the fucking Crown's tax bill?
I read it something like, which makes me feel like it has to be like 80 million.
But how do we know when the Queen won't even has it written into law that her overall wealth cannot be disclosed?
Oh, sorry, that's the amount of money they get a year from taxpayers, allegedly.
Oh, right.
Which I do not believe. Knowing how we know
Don't they have to pay tax as well? Are they not on PAYE? What the fuck is HR doing?
They're on benefits.
They are benefiting from the welfare state. We are just dishing them out. It's, yeah.
Oh my God. Another thing I wrote down was not Meghan believing in the Commonwealth. Canadians, man, they have a lot to learn, bless them.
Oh God, yeah.
I wrote not Meghan believing in the Commonwealth, not Meghan going to HR. Then I wrote down Tyler Perry had to save the day. That is nuts. You know who Tyler Perry is?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, I knew I liked that man, really. But it's also more to show, like, this is what stresses me out. Because when you say, like, say being black is more expensive and you have less, like, why do I, as a private citizen, why am I paying to protect your royal monarchs? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, now I have to foot the bill. I know he's literally a billionaire now, but still.
Who? Harry.
Perry.
Oh, wait.
But still. Yeah. Harry definitely watched The Crown. That's another thing I wrote down. I didn't write down any of the serious points because I was too busy getting upset.
The serious points are covered as well. We, like, I mean, listen, you've seen the episode, not the episode.
You've seen the links interview. To more people that you should probably listen to about serious stuff more than us, and we'll talk about the fun stuff. I'll put 2 links in. I can think of 2.
I'll put two, a whole 2 links.
You're welcome.
We posted things on. We can repost that the interview that.
I know I can.
That she did. You did that.
Yeah, I can. I just mean, like, if you want something more substantial, go there. But we are very. In all honesty,
people. You listened to it. You were there. You've watched it. I can't. I don't think that.
Why did they pretend they didn't watch The Crown though? They definitely watched The Crown.
Do you think? Would you watch a show about your family life? I would not.
When it got to the Diana series, I'd want to know. Because the thing is, let's be real, I bet now that Harry is outside of that family, I'm sorry to talk about these people like I know them. And I just, the only reason I'm doing this is because it's a huge institution. It's not gossip. But he's probably going to find out a lot of horrible things about his own family. He's going to find out so much.
If he, hasn't already.
Your own dad. Listen, I know, let's be real. I know fathers can be
challenging.
Tricky. Yeah. But my God, man.
Do you think that he is the institution? I know that there are several people, but do you think that he's the one?
There's loads of them.
But I think it's all of them. When Meghan said that she specifically went to one person, and do you think that the people in the institution are family or just staff?
Family. Family is in, like, they might not necessarily have the titles of prince or princess or king or whatever. I'm also, was I talking to? No, I was talking to my brother. Me and my brother were talking the other day, and I was like, if the Queen thinks we're going to, this was before all of this happened. We were just having a random conversation. I was like, the Queen thinks she's going to serve us up a King Charles and we're going to take it. She can go to hell. Because I'm telling you right now. But no,
well, that's probably why she's lasting so long, because she's like, I can't leave the country in Charles
is the worst. He's always been my least favorite.
I don't really
do that to your own baby, your baby boy that you held. Listen,
but then also just it made me actually want to go back and listen to the Diana Panorama interview,
because I would have seen it recently.
Have you?
Not recently, like definitely watched it last year.
Why?
Because sometimes I just I just look people up and I get lost on a
right,
YouTube,
okay, in a rabbit hole.
And I just find her, I think it's probably triggered by the way Meghan was being treated at the time that made me want to go, because people were comparing it. Yeah. Because didn't Prince Harry make a statement like he wouldn't want something like what happened to his mum to happen to her or something like that?
I don't know if he made the statement prior to this interview, but part of the things in the interview is
he's definitely said something like that.
I know he said, because he did say that he has spoken about this and he said it before, so he must have made a statement that I
think it was when Meghan Markle said that she wasn't okay or whatever when she was in that garden. What was that?
Which garden?
Before they left. But that interview where she was outside and the interviewer asked her, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "No." No, bitch, I hate it here. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. To think like if that was me, my husband would not have left with me and the kids. He would have just been like, "Okay, sorry, but if you don't like it, you've got." That's been my experience of racism. I'll be like, "Hey, I think there's something funny going on here. You getting a vibe?
Take the kid, go, bye."
No, he'd be like, "And I'm keeping the kid. What are you gonna do?" Sorry to make this about me, but it is about me.
Sorry to your future husband.
No, I'd never marry someone. That's another thing. I think I was thinking that the whole time. I would have left. Like, do you know what? This is actually funny. I'm not going to lie. The other night, I was looking at my ex and I was kind of like, it happens every so often. I'll be like, I wonder what could have been. Like, did I overreact?
Right.
And then I watched this and I'm like, I did the right thing. I definitely did the right thing leaving. Like, you can't be with someone who won't ride for you. Like, that's not normal. And I was thinking about like small things, like the first time, like I should have known, like if that happened now, I feel like I would have just known straight away. But it was like his birthday, and every year he goes for a dinner with his two best friends, right? Every year. And he started going out with me, and he told me they didn't want to do the dinner. And I was like, that's when I had this weird, eerie feeling. That's how I can describe it. It's the only way I can describe it, just an eerie feeling. And I should have known, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And then another birthday came and they didn't want to do the dinner. Every single year they do the dinner.
Wow. I mean, look, I'm glad things played out the way they did.
It really affects me though in a way that I'm not.
Like, well, no, that I'm not glad that happened, but I'm glad that you
left.
Yeah.
My advice to anybody who ever hears this, no matter when it is in your life, if you are with somebody, and it doesn't matter if they are okay, it doesn't even matter if their immediate family is okay, if there is somebody in their life who is really anti-Black, and sorry, I'm assuming you're a Black person, if you're not a Black person, if
even
they're racist,
you still shouldn't. Yeah, you still should not be okay with it.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. If you're anti-Black and you're with someone who's anti-Black, I don't give a fuck what happens to you. Good luck.
If you're not anti-Black, and you're with some or if you're not Black and you come across that, you should also not be okay with it. It shouldn't just have to be. Yeah.
But I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying that they should be okay with it. Obviously, no one should be okay with that. But I'm just saying, it's a sense of urgency to the person who is the most vulnerable in that situation.
Yeah.
Please leave. Please leave. The damage it does to your mental health is just. Oh my God, I cannot begin to tell you. It's horrible. You need to leave immediately. That goes for jobs. There's certain situations that you can't sit in. And I know that that's easier said because literally every place I've ever worked has been racist in some capacity. But at the same time, you got to protect your neck.
Yeah.
And
you don't need to
be
polite about it. Just get out in whatever way you can and need to.
Let's all Meghan Markle our way to a brighter day.
Yeah. To a happy ending.
Yeah, I would have left. I would have left.
But But I just wonder, I mean,
her poor mom, imagine watching your baby girl go through that.
And probably not even be able to speak with her. Like, could she even physically leave?
Not just casually, no.
Yeah,
she
exactly.
Said they had a passport.
Yeah, no, if you don't take my passport.
That's the thing people don't understand. It's not a normal thing. Like, even if you're like the head of state voted in democratically, it's not, you have no freedom.
But yeah, I've made the mistake of, I don't even know why I'm saying this, because it's just, I'll say it, let's not dwell on it too much. But just Jesus fucking Christ, going into comment sections on any of this kind of stuff.
This has been, for me, the best horrible experience ever. The only thing that kind of made me think something was funny was like the views on my stories went up loads, and I was thinking, are people coming here to see what I thought about it? Because I'm not telling you. I don't like that people like feed off of black pain.
Black trauma,
I just don't like it. It's so weird. And it's annoying because there's so much you want to say and you want to express yourself, but you have to starve these fucking vampires. That's not the way to do it. You have to say you have to say what's on your heart. Like, there was so much I wanted to say that day. I wanted to fucking let my ex's friends have it. And I was just like, I don't think I should. But let me tell you, they're making it onto a song. They might get an interlude. The world will know what they did.
We are telling each other when we listen to that.
Some good news. Oh no, I'll tell you off air. Sorry, I'm like, this is a podcast, not
this
just
this isn't the good
what's
news.
What's going
podcast,
on in Rick's life?
Listen, you don't come here for our good news.
This has been the weirdest episode, and
it's been because we haven't really talked about the thing that we watched at all.
But we have.
But we haven't. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
usually we don't
like,
what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Because
but the thing is,
it's not really about, and you've all seen it, you all know, and I don't want to, it's not.
It's too personal.
It trivialized it to be like, and then they said this, and then they said, and then this happened.
But we could have gone through it and talked about each part and broken it down and told you basically why it's so bad. Like, the worst part obviously being the effect. And let that be a lesson to everybody out there. That is how damaging racism is to your mental health. The first time I started having panic attacks and obsessive thoughts was actually when I was about maybe 10. And it's when I moved from Croydon, a multi-ethnic area, to a completely white area. And I should have known. I had my first ever panic attack in the school. Like, the effect that it has on your mental health, I would go as far as to say it's almost irreparable. It needs to stop. So when you have colleagues, friends, whoever, who are telling you about this shit, it's not a joke. It's so serious. There are children, especially in America, the number of Black children committing suicide has gone up. It's not a joke. It's not a small thing. It's not funny. And I hope you don't mind me saying, Natalie, but both me and Natalie have had problems. Like, everyone in their life will have issues with their mental health at some point. It's like saying you've lived and you've never had a cold and you never got sick. It's never going to happen. You are going to, in this world, in this fucked up world especially, it's going to happen to you. But our experiences have been way more extreme. And both of us, I would say, it's probably the root fucking cause is the racism. Like, the way that it makes you feel, to see yourself, your identity, the way even that you're parented, you're brought up.
Yeah, they think that it's manifested in, or the root cause of it is, it is probably rooted in racism, but I think in different ways for both of us, which just shows you how insidious this thing is.
Yeah.
It attacks you from all different angles, from
in ways sometimes you don't even know.
inside your own self, and from people that are close to you, the closest people to you.
Facts.
And yeah, it's not fun.
It's not fun. But thank God we live to tell the tale. I mean, oh my God, this is so random. I'm sorry to jump from such extreme trauma to this. Okay, I watched this film with my cousin, and at first, you know me, I'm like, this is shit. Then, of course, I'm like, oh my God, we have to watch
Best thing ever.
It's about, it's supposed to be teenagers, but I think they were like early 20s.
50 years old, sure. They were mid to late 50s.
They're 97 now. The guy now is 35, but I think when they shot the first one, he was 27, 8. Anyway, so it's like, I'm so excited to tell you because you'll love it. You might have already seen it. Oh my God, I'm so
Is this charades or something? What is going on? Am I going to guess?
How do I not know
Listeners, help
this?
me guess. What is it? What's Ruth trying to tell me?
Oh my God, how can I not remember this? Okay, so it's like a post-apocalyptic world. The world has been nuked. All the countries nuked each other, which I hate when they do that.
Sounds like Ultra Flash, but sure.
They never addressed the radiation poisoning. And I feel like that trivializes what actually happened when...
in Ultra Flash, or the film you're talking about?
I know in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Because Americans are like, but from our perspective, this is what would happen. I'm like, but we know what actually happened.
We know what did happen and how it's still affecting people currently.
But yeah, they also, it was a bit like, not Ultra Fresh, it was a bit like Galaxina in that the world was like reddy pink from the radiation.
Okay, yeah.
Only outside like the bubble. So it's set in the city of Chicago, and they all live in different like sects. They're all like segregated into these 5 groups. And then when they turn 18, they can pick what group they want to join. And it's done by a test. And the test determines who you are, like what group you're in. But the catch is she is all of the groups and she has all these abilities. But those people are hunted.
What is this? Divergent?
Yes!
Wow, Jesus. I've not even seen it.
Oh my God.
I've never even seen it or read the books, but I somehow...
So bad and so good.
Yeah, I have no intention of watching that.
Neither did I.
But we are.
Yeah, I've seen the first one and the third one. I haven't seen the middle. And there needs to be a 4th one because the ending of the 3rd was like suggesting there was going to be another one. So rude.
Okay.
And I was just like, at first I was annoyed because, oh no, that's a spoiler. I won't. Yeah.
Because I'm going to watch it.
You're never going to watch it. So
I'm never going to watch it. Just tell me.
Yeah. In the 3rd one, they start referring to her as pure. And she's like a white, supposed to be like teenage. So she looks kind of innocent, blonde girl. And I'm just like, who wrote this? Yeah. That was a bad move. You could have picked any word. They were like, she's genetically pure. I was like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna
come on.
I think I'm gonna actually vomit.
And we all know
really
that like when it's only the bad people these days in films and pop culture that say things about people being pure. And also,
well, the guy who said it was a villain in the end, but still, I just feel like for the kind of age range of people watching that, they need that whole power structure broken up. They don't need it reinforced constantly through American media.
Yeah, like, do we still have to be trotting out the same old storyline?
Mm-hmm. But her love interest would get it. At first, I didn't like him. But after a couple of fight scenes, I was like, as much as I hate myself for saying this, he's kind of hot.
After some bloody violence.
Yeah. Oh my God. Beat everyone up, please. Wow. Abolish prisons. I'll send you a clip.
Okay.
From a Nollywood film that made me laugh. It's like this guy, this couple is in a bar, and there's two guys at the bar who are friends with the man. Okay, three men and a woman. The man and a woman are a couple. The other two guys are the man's friends. Right. One of them starts saying like, men always tell lies to get what they want from women, and then he's like, tell me, what did your husband say, or boyfriend, I can't remember his name, say to get between your legs? What lie did he tell you? And she's like offended. This man gets up, goes up to the guy that he knows, pulls a gun on him, puts it to his head and says, apologize right now. And I was like, that's what I want. That is, but in my situation, it would be like, probably like, he'd just laugh with them and shoot me.
Or that he would tell the joke. He would tell the lie. Oh my God. He would be like, I told that dumb bitch.
That would be when you realise it really was
that
true.
I would defend her honour when my friends said shit to her. And now look at her.
Yeah, I've been disrespected in my time. Good God.
Yeah, and there is a time and a place for disrespect, and it's only when it's consensual.
Bedroom, consensual. Yes. Amen. But then again, I also have been, I've known decent people. It's just the damage that the indecency has done is so heavy. It's hard to like forget. Yeah. And I take everything as disrespect. Like I was telling Natalie, this guy threw my glasses on the floor of his car in an emergency situation. And even then I was like, how dare you?
Please, sir, fold them neatly, put them in the case.
They are not on the dashboard. I didn't get the scratch. Exactly. I didn't get scratch resistant lenses. Like now the whole anyway.
I did not plump for scratch resistant lenses, sir.
And I wish I did.
Have some respect.
He's actually messaged me.
If not for me, then for somebody's property, for somebody's stuff, like please.
That's so rude. Like I wear them on my face and you think it's appropriate to throw them on the floor.
I need these to see. This is medical. Oh,
you froze.
Gosh. Did I?
Yeah.
Am I still freezy?
It says my internet connection is unstable.
Oh no. Should we pause?
How can that be? I'm plugged in.
Should we pause? Or is this going to make the cut?
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I can still hear you. I mean, guys, you must love listening to our internet banter. We revert back to the beginning of this episode where we blamed everything on the internet.
Oh my God, it's going to be so weird post-corona listening back to people talk about the internet. You're going to be like, shut the hell up about the internet. Get better connection.
Aside already. Wait, yeah. What do you mean?
Like imagine like in like 2 years time listening back to like an episode like this and like in every episode we reference the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when we listen back to this in 2 years' time, like us talking about our crappy internet connection is probably going to be the least of our concerns. Maybe concerns isn't the right word. I think it'll be the last thing that we'll be laughing about when we listen back to this.
I think we'll cringe. I think that all podcasts should expire after a year. That's just my humble opinion. All episodes. I think it automatically
it expires after a year, but we just do something else. Oh, is it it gets deleted off the internet and you can't listen back to it
from everywhere? Like automatically, just to give everyone a fighting chance to survive in this world.
What? Just in the world in general, or in podcasts, so that new people, aka us, can get visibility.
No, I just meant for us not to have to stand by the things we said.
Oh, true. Yeah, of course.
It is. I'm not going to change my mind about the monarchy, for instance, but I might regret.
I think sometimes we say things that you don't even really think about or mean.
Yeah, and then for me, I feel like, I don't know how you feel, but because I struggle with being emotionally vulnerable, sometimes I'll make light of something that is not light to make myself feel more comfortable. So I'll listen back to it and I'm like, oh my God, I sound like I'm just like making a joke out of everything. But honey, mum's got to eat. That doesn't even make sense.
This isn't paying us anything, so.
And I don't understand why I said that. Oh my God.
That's a case in point, isn't it? You're being emotionally vulnerable, and then you made a joke about needing to eat.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I just can't be serious. And I retweeted today. Oh my God. The like on our account. Zendaya is going to be acting her heart out on The Crown in a couple of years. And it's like yesterday, I was literally crying. I was crying at this interview. I was so triggered. And now I'm like, Zendaya is going to be acting her. Zendaya's going to kill that role. Somebody else said that Meghan should be allowed to play Meghan in The Crown, but she would never. She's too...
She wouldn't. She's like...
She's above all of that.
She's got too much class, as if you wouldn't have class to take it. But anybody else, it wouldn't be a comment on anybody else can take that role, whatever. But Meghan, she has too much class to go back there.
She really does move like a queen, honestly. Because let me tell you, I was saying this to my cousin, like there are certain things that happen in your life where it's time to, what Nigerians say, break a bottle. Get a bottle and break the bottle. You break a bottle when somebody says, what skin color do you think the child's going to be? That's when I break a bottle. That's when we're fighting.
Right. Oh, this is a fighting thing as opposed to like you're seeing off a ship.
Oh, no, nothing like that.
So, yeah.
I hope that second baby is blacker than ever. But that's also a really weird thing to say, so I'm sorry. I guess I've just never, as much as I've grown up in this colorist world, and I'm not saying this to make anybody feel bad about their own past. I just can't imagine having a baby and wanting my baby to be a certain skin tone. That's just not something that I think should even cross your mind. But then again, I guess if you're racist, it's probably the first thing on your mind. If you're racist, what else are you thinking about?
But it's definitely something that has, again, like, I'm not at all proud of this now, but it's stuff that has crossed my mind because, again, of the internalized racism that I struggle with, in that it's the, like, having a child with somebody that was white would mean that, like, I'd have a child that was like that, and that, like, it doesn't even matter. B, it doesn't even make sense because you don't know what your child is going to look like. We've like exactly we just spoke about. They might be
genetics are mad.
But it's still that, because people, and I think that this is probably, I really can't speak to anybody else's experience, but I've hazard a guess that it's a common thing for non-Black people of color to kind of think, want to have that proximity to whiteness, and that protection of whiteness, even though it's not going to protect you. You'll never be on the same level.
No, but
you won't be at the bottom
from colorism. Totally. But that is like literally buying into oppression, and and you also can't. You can never know happiness in this world as long as people are being oppressed. That's just how it is. But honestly, I've always, to be honest, I'm just going to be real. Like, I don't know if this is problematic to say, because obviously I've dated people outside my race before, but even with people of my own, even other Black people, I've always struggled like with this idea of like how they perceive like the way their child's going to be raised. Because to me, like, obviously I'm in charge. Like, I remember saying to one guy who I kind of had like a thing with, we were talking about kids, and he was just sort of talking about like, it was, I think we were having a conversation if we had children. I was like, obviously I'm going to raise my children. I don't care what ethnicity they are.
I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah, like I'm going to raise them as Black. I know that sounds weird, but like I'd never actually articulated that before. I was like, whoever I give birth to, no matter what, they're going to, I know it sounds, I don't even care how it sounds. They're gonna be black. When you have a black mother, you are seen as like, I don't really get that, but yeah. And I've always wanted black children, but then I think that that's also problematic to say. You're not supposed to breed. You're supposed to just have children. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
but yeah. Oh my God, one guy who I was talking to who's actually an ex-boyfriend, he was saying that, like, he was talking about the hair that our children would have. And I was like, obviously they'd have curly hair. Like, even if it's not an afro, they're going to have curly hair. And he was like, yeah, but you never know. And to be honest, he was actually right in that instant. Like, you can't have these ideas of what your children are going to look like, because they could come out looking like anybody in anybody's family tree. Like, you really don't know. And it's anyhow you put it, even if it isn't, like, say if I wanted my children to have like a really tight coily afros, that's also problematic, because you're not supposed to like breed, do you know what I mean?
Selective.
So it's weird. Yeah. Even if it's not prejudice thing, it's still it's a bit weird. So yeah, I had to cut that shit out, because basically I'm trying to everyone wants to give birth to themselves. I remember a girl in school told me she was talking about, her mum said to her that if she had, but I don't even know how we got onto it, because I'm pretty sure her boyfriend wasn't mixed race. I wasn't black. She was like, but if you had mixed race children, they wouldn't look like you. That's what her mum said to her. We were like 13. We were in secondary school, but like young.
That is not.
I'm just thinking about it now. I'm just like, what? God, people are so weird. And the amount of people have said to me that they wish they were mixed race is so, I'm just like, why? When I was younger, comments like that, I just thought they were just weird, but I'd ignore them. But as an adult, I'm just like, as an adult woman, why are you coming up to another adult woman specifically to tell me that you wish you were mixed race? Like, what am I going to do with that?
I still want to be like, what do you? You still want to be white, but you want to have something a little bit of.
You want to have? I wish I had a bit of black. I wish I had a bit of black in me. I'm like, I'm literally a black woman. Like, why would you think that's an appropriate thing to say to a black person? And even if you thought that was an appropriate thing to say, like, why is that a topic of conversation? People are fucked up in the head. Well, they're just racist, so that's that.
I often have asked our mum before whether she, what she thought about having kids that obviously were not going to be white.
You've asked her?
Yeah.
What does she say? Sorry, I'm intrigued.
She's just like, she's very like, I just I didn't think about it at all. Yeah. It wasn't a thing. And I think for me and for my siblings, we're just kind of like, that's odd to me as well, that it wouldn't be a consideration. But I suppose when we're talking about it now in this context, like why wouldn't it have been? Like, she didn't see we were just her kids, you know?
It's like for you, it must be like a conflicting thing, like a double thing. Because on the one hand, it's like your children are your children. Obviously, it doesn't matter what they look like. You're supposed to love them. Not to say, I hate saying stuff like that, because it makes it sound like if you look a certain way when you're born, that's a bad thing. I don't mean that. I just mean you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's just like, I feel like for a non-white person, I feel like it's impossible not to imagine how race will play a role in your children's life. But to a white person, maybe they just don't think about that because they don't know.
I think that she didn't. I think she does that. I don't think that she realised. And in honesty, I'm not going to say that. I think that the way that racism has affected me more has been actually within internal family structures, as opposed to what I've experienced outside in the real world. So that's why I think our experiences of it are different. And again, why I say it's like it's so insidious, the way that it will find you. But she just, I think that was just naive to it. and didn't. Yeah,
that's
maybe
stressful.
Just didn't know.
It is stressful listening to somebody say like they don't know, like even like Harry, and saying like, I just find it difficult when people like say stuff like that. That's why I think that going back to the colorism thing, like that the idea of like mixed race people presenting these shows is just mad, because it's like they're just going to be shocked and I didn't know in the whole time. And as when you're on the receiving end of it, I didn't know, it makes you want to drop kick someone, to be honest. I'm just going to be honest. I hate that. Oh my God. Or even worse, when somebody says, I know. And I'm like, you don't know. You don't.
And you never will.
I can't shop in Tesco Local. I'm still not shopping in my Tesco Local because of that reason. You really don't know. Like, go away. Okay, so I text this guy who I thought was blocked, who I thought blocked me. I did block him first, but that's neither here nor there. I unblocked him to message him. So
if we go along back to the history, the timelines of blockings.
Guys, if you block someone, never unblock them.
So you block them for a reason, okay? You block them 100%. For a reason. If you want to, if you're not really serious about blocking somebody, just like maybe mute them.
I have to block.
See, I think I don't want other people. I'm too cowardly to block. I'll just mute because I don't want people to think. I feel like as well, a block's like such you can't undo a block.
Yes, you literally can. I did it.
No, I know you can, but we have just said if you block somebody, do not undo it.
Yeah, you shouldn't. But here we are.
Okay, so he hasn't blocked you.
No, he messaged me. Oh yeah, this takes me back to why I blocked him. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna block him again.
Oh God. Wait, do I know why you blocked him? Do I remember? Have I forgotten?
I just gift gaff mobile voicemail all the time. Who has a gift gaff voicemail except for someone who's cheating on their partner? Serious question, please submit your answers to where.
Look, if you've got a gift gaff mobile, pay as you go, then I'm sorry. And you're not cheating on your partner, then I'm sorry. If you are, maybe just tell your partner. Because
nobody has pay as you go anymore. You don't need it, even if it's like.
It's more expensive to have a pay as you go phone.
Yeah,
I'm quite certain at this stage.
100% is. Yeah.
Yeah. Roaming charges on a pay as you go. Are you crazy? Data on a pay as you go. That'd be insane. Do you remember going doing pay as you go and getting your top up card at the supermarket and calling up?
It's just so long.
What a process.
But then you could get a bundle.
Oh God, sorry, Brody's just jumped on the table.
I wondered what that was.
Yeah. Listeners, if you can hear some random messy noise, it's everyone's favourite producer cat, Brody.
And for some reason, my brother, who's now entered the room and thinks it's appropriate to talk in the background.
And now
be quiet.
Our guest, our first ever guest. Actually, maybe one day we'll have guests on when we can.
We should definitely have a guest.
When we can do season 3, Porn
we should
Revisited.
Have a Zoom guest.
Yeah, we could do that.
And then we can watch something. I think next week.
That's what we can do. We can do our usual podcast planning session now. Because when else are we going to do it? Let's face it.
Honestly.
Yeah, so this is our only time to connect.
We had a scheduled, what's that drama on the BBC? But
Channel 4.
Yeah, but I need to postpone.
Have you started it?
No. And I can't watch it this week. I'm just going to be honest.
Got stuff on. I think you need to take your time with it as well, because it's just, I finished it last week.
Okay, I'll just start watching it. I'll do but I know I can't binge anything. So can we do something? Oh my gosh. What should we watch?
Oh, so I had a thought we could watch. Oh, we could watch Promising Young Woman. That's supposed to be really good with Carey Mulligan.
Is that the one in the champagne glass? Oh, is that an old film or a new film?
It's new. It came out, I think, at the end of last year.
It sounds like a period drama.
No.
Oh.
Black comedy thriller. Okay.
Okay, there's one black cast member. That might swing it for me. I'm sorry, after the monarchy, I'm just not in the mood for white people. I'm sure you guys understand. Okay, I guess. I'll give it a try.
That's on the list as it has always been. We can
we ignore our list and just add to it every single time.
And then God, just what else was on the list? Girls in Love by Jacqueline Wilson.
I would love to. Just say the word and I'm down.
That's an audio.
Yeah.
We've got 3 hours to.
Oh, because I go for a walk and I need stuff to listen to anyway, so an audiobook is always fine. Rather than sitting and watching something.
My thing is though, I need to
physically read it.
No, not at all. It's more that I tend to leave whatever it is that we're doing till like the last minute. And that's a bit harder to do with like a 3.5 hour audiobook. Although if it's an audiobook, I can listen to it while I'm working, I guess.
Yeah, it depends what you're doing, because sometimes it takes too much attention.
Can't think of what else. I've been listening to a lot of, getting back to listening to Why Won't You Date Me, the Nicole Byers podcast.
That sounds so depressing. Is it asking people why they won't date her?
I mean,
who wants to know why somebody doesn't want to date you?
No, it's not specifically she's asking people that she has likes. She has other friends and comedians and podcast hosts like drag queens and people on the show, and they talk about sex, relationships, whatever. But it's kind of all centered around the fact that she has not had a significant long-term relationship and it finds it really difficult for people to actually commit and be real with her. And she's very funny anyway.
That's probably what it is.
Well, she is a hilarious, funny, fat black woman. And I think that, unfortunately, she talks a lot about that as well. And the role that kind of plays. It's very, very good, very funny.
Oh my God, this is so random, but I'm going back again to the Meghan Markle situation. I still call her Meghan Markle because I don't know what their family's surname is. Piers Morgan's obsession with her, all because she didn't text him back. That is a mess, honey.
Yeah.
Don't you have any shame?
That is just the ultimate in bitter. That's so funny. It's not funny because what he has done to that poor woman is unforgivable.
She's not seeing it. She's not going to see it. In my mind.
It doesn't matter if she doesn't see it. The rest of the world sees it. And
I get that. So many, but it's just like, that's the only tiny joy that I can take from it. It's just honey, she's still not.
It doesn't, It was his fault. It's you sad man.
I think his career is going to get super extreme. Because I just don't see where else he can go.
It has to get extreme, and he will.
Not to say that it hasn't been extreme up till now. I just mean he's like an LBC right-wing person waiting to happen instead of an ITV one. What's the difference? What am I even saying?
Like, what's her name?
He's a mess.
Kate Hopkins.
Is she still doing it?
I don't know. Well, what? Presenting or just being a general?
I know she's still being a... I'm sorry, I'm not into body shaming, but the way she looks terrifies me. She looks like somebody deflated her.
Well, it's deflating all the joy and humanity out of somebody.
Okay.
Look, we're obviously not going to figure out what we're going to do next week. Who
we can
knows?
watch Promising Young Woman. We can.
No, I don't. That face says it all. Again, sorry guys, if like you'll definitely be able to hear Brody meowing his head off. That is probably definitely our cue to leave.
Okay, we're gonna watch Promising Young Woman. I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So we'll see you next week when we are reviewing Jacqueline Wilson's Girls and Blood. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Rewind the tape.